Gates of Orchid and Iris is brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you. Remember to like, share, comment, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Hello, this is Gates of Orchid and Iris. I am the GM, Paul. And who is playing tonight?
This is Sebastian, Cbass, and I'm playing Ikoma Chusei.
This is Gatts, and I'm playing Kaio Suko.
This is Ludo, and I'll be playing Matsu Erika.
This is Rachel, and I am playing Kuni Suiko.
I'm Mason, I'm playing Shishiro Saika.
I'm Kay, and I will be playing various NPCs today.
How does this process go? Like, how would you find a person in this large of a city?
It's like, man, D&D, I just throw a gather information roll at it.
Yeah, this isn't D&D though. And, no, I don't think any of your school abilities help here.
No, I do not believe so. I think I can probably work it as a courtesy thing, but I gotta kind of read that for real quick.
I think a water courtesy is something that would help because that helps you survey. Because air is more of an analyze thing. I think fire would be like beating up informants, and I don't think that's really the key here. Because you aren't necessarily tracking him, so it wouldn't be survival at all. Yeah, I think the closest thing we're going to get to is probably courtesy.
I mean, it actually looks like it'd be more of water with the way I would be going. Air looks like I'd be kind of trying to deceive people, but
yeah.
At the moment, that's not what I'd be doing. Just trying to locate them.
Yeah, you're trying to use your series of contacts to locate them, and yeah, that looks like probably a courtesy. Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, you can make a water courtesy check. Let's see. TN for this.
That seemed like a pretty meh kind of roll, though.
Yeah, before I actually look at the roll, I'm going to give you a TN, and then I'm going to see if you passed or not. I'm going to say that the TN, Jocho is a man of the town. He's the talk of the town sometimes. I think people would probably be able to track him easily. He's not like trying to hide where he is. So I'm going to say it's at least a TN2.
Yay!
Hey, and you got it without any strife. Good job. So what does this look like as you're like, who are like the people you ask around town? Like, who are your contacts? Like, who do you use for your people finding?
I probably would have at least created a decent rapport with someone located around the tea house. So I generally wouldn't have to go too far. Specific names I wouldn't really know offhand, but that would ideally be my go-to, is someone nearby who may be in a more advantageous position to consistently people watch. You know, like they may have like an actual stall or something outside, And me going up and approaching them, like almost like New York food cart kind of style, me going up and approaching them and talking to them for a second is like totally understandable. No one's going to look at that weird.
I think this might become a person in the future that we might use a lot more for you. So let's give them a name. So the food stall merchant, Kinzaburo, is a guy. He has like one of those ramen stands that's on wheels, so he can take it to events and stuff too. And he's never in like the same spot twice. But you generally know if he's in the area or not. And you go up to him, and he greets you as the honorable person as you are, and he offers you ramen. Hello. Oh, hey, hello. And he bows. You want a bowl?
Yes, of course.
And he opens up like the little like hot pot containers, and takes out some of the broth and noodles, and like puts some dried meat on it, and hands it to you. And he goes, "It's kind of late for ramen, isn't it?"
Well, ramen this good, it's never too late.
And he nods. I'm usually moving up to the fisherman quarter at this time of night, and but you caught me just in time. Do you want anything else with your ramen?
I probably figured I would still be little on the innuendo side if I'm asking him for something, even though it is out. I as I probably isn't strange that I'm speaking with him. Says he was the son of governor, the head of the Thunder Guard.
Is that what you say, or were you just talking to yourself for a minute?
I was talking out loud for everybody.
Okay, cool.
I'm just coming up with an interesting line that kind of veils my my request of him.
Okay.
I was curious if you knew where one might find where thunder starts.
This time of day usually starts with tears, and he gives you a wink.
Do I immediately know that offhand, or is that?
Let's give you what should we give you? It will be a check. I know it will have to do with memory, so it's going to be at least Earth. Let's do a or would this be void? So it's going to be a meditation check. So Earth meditation to remember.
I've got some Earth.
Cool. And I will say the TN. Once again, we're going to stick with those twos. I like those twos.
I'm just checking to see if any of my abilities might do anything here.
Nope, I don't think any of those would help you out.
Yeah, surprisingly, we don't have meditation. That's I think that's something I was considering, but just hadn't gotten it on the skills just yet.
But it does look like you do have an success. Or two successes, that is.
Yeah, I got a lot.
Yep. So...
And I can choose to explode those, or do I have to?
You can choose to, but you only need two, and more successes won't help you. You could get opportunities, and you don't have to keep the explosions if you don't want to, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll just keep it at that then. I don't want to risk more strife at the moment.
So when thinking about Teardrop Island, why does it give you stress? And also, for those at home who don't know what Teardrop Island is, it is the red light district of all of Ryoko Owari. It is a place where there's many geisha houses, many whore houses, and where some rowdy people love to hang out. And, of course, by its name, it's also on an island in middle of the river, because the river is pretty large, and this island is fairly sizable. It's its own quarter. Most people call it the license quarter.
And I imagine the strife is similar to the one from the last. It is a very sociable place. It is also a place of much material temptation, which is not a thing that I'm for. So, but again, it is what I'm being asked to do. So I tough it out and accept that.
And Kinzaburo looks at you, and he, he's pretty casual with you at this point. He says, do you want anything else with that ramen? Gates of Orchid and Iris will return in a moment.
Welcome to Cultural Explorations. During this gameplay break, we shall explore the tea houses of China and Japan. In China, tea houses, called Cha Guan, date back to the Western Jin dynasty and further developed during the Tang and Song dynasties. Tea houses are known for being spaces for socializing, holding meetings, and enjoying entertainment such as storytelling, chess, opera arias sung without makeup or acting, and puppet shows, just to name a few. Decorations depends on the tea house style and location, though you can typically find calligraphy, paintings, and flowers. A Qing tea house, mostly seen in Beijing, is known for having pergolas for enjoying tea outside with nature, except during the cold months of winter. Tai Chi tea houses are known in Hangzhou for their cha dao, or tea ceremony. Other beverages, such as plum blossom wine, papaya juice, and stewed plum water, are also served along with foods like soups, dumplings, and small snacks. Today's tea houses still hold deep cultural significance, and China boasts over 25,000 of them. In Japan, there are two types of tea houses. The first are called chashitsu, or tea room. These are the standalone buildings you can find in parks or the countryside where tea ceremonies, commonly called chado or way of tea, are held. The single room is lined with tatami mats and has an alcove for a wall scroll of calligraphy, poetry, or painting, and flowers done in chabana style, arrangement specific to chado. You can also find chashitsu inside personal homes, temples, castles, and other buildings. They are only used for chado and always lined with tatami mats. The second type are called ochaya, or tea house. These are not public tea houses like those found in China, but are exclusive establishments. Business is built upon trust, and anyone who wishes to join an ochaya must be introduced by an existing patron. These are typically located within geisha districts known as hanamachi, as geisha and maiko provide the entertainment. Ochaya are used for business meetings, political meetings, and social gatherings, with geisha providing entertainment, conversation, and serving drink and food. Today, ochaya are dwindling in number. A few have opened to tourists as a way to stay open, but most still hold their exclusivity. One of the oldest and indeed most famous ochaya is Ichiriki Chaya, or One Strength Tea House, located in the Gion district of Kyoto. It has stayed exclusive through its 300 years and is the setting for the famous story 47 Ronin. A small note to make. The name for tea ceremony probably sounded pretty similar. That is because the spelling is nearly identical. Chadao is spelled Chadao and is 2 words. Chado is a single word and the A is removed. This is likely because tea ceremony was introduced to Japan from China via Buddhist monks, mainly Issai. In 1187, Issai traveled to China to study philosophy and religion for 20 years. He brought back with him tea, the foundations for tea ceremony, and he founded Zen Buddhism in Japan. Thank you for listening. Want to know more about tea or tea houses? Visit our Patreon for longer explorations and other rewards. And now, back to our story.
I was given a query the other day that I'm wondering if you perhaps have an answer to. What would it take to appease thunder?
He kind of gives you a chuckle. And with the look on your face from mentioning where the tears start, I don't think you have it in you to appease where the thunder starts. And he's trying not to laugh.
Well, it was more of, because I'm going to have to, introduce myself and potentially, maybe, I find it maybe customary to bring a gift or offer something. That's more of what I was shooting for. What does he like that I could just kind of give him that he'd be like, oh yes, of course, yeah, they'll take that happily, And what is your name? Something to, I'm gonna get my foot in the door with them is what I'm shooting for.
If that's, I kind of knew what you meant, but I felt like teasing you.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah. He thinks for a moment for a more polite answer. Well, from what I hear, quench thirst and you're in.
I am kind of parched, so perhaps I will follow up on that.
And the more mouths that you quench, the better.
All right. Well, I will give him a bow and then wish him the best on his trek over to, I believe you said the docks, I think, right?
The fisherman quarter, yeah.
And hope for some good sales over there.
And he bows back very politely and wishes you the best of luck of tracking down where the thunder starts. And he, takes his handles and puts his back to his cart and starts pulling it away. So the track to the license quarter from the merchant quarter isn't that long. You do have to go on a boat to get there. And has your character ever been to this quarter before?
Not unless I was asked to, like I am now.
Yeah, so I'm going to say probably this is the first time within the years that you've been here that you've been to this place. And as you step foot on the island, there's actually a good sizable wall built around front half that you can access by boat. And there is one entrance, and it looks like a shop. And across the shop on the top, it says Swords Polished. And it looks like the only entrance in.
This is to get to the island?
Yep, this is to get to the actual entertainment part of the island.
Well, if it is the only way, I will enter.
So you enter a shop, and it's a nice little shop. There are like people waiting. There are, it's pretty busy. There's a man with a basket on his head to conceal his identity, and everyone's waiting in line. And you see that they are stopping at the counter, and they are giving their weapons to the man behind the counter. And for each weapon, they get a little tag. And this continues with like the people in front of you. And there's not much exchanges. The man behind the counter bows, introduces himself as Kato, asks for the weapons. And if anybody like gives him any guff, he just says, out of the respects of all the workers of the Teardrop Island, we wish you to give up your weapons for the pleasure that this place can bring. This means no offense to anyone. These are just the rules to keep everyone safe. And, eventually, after some back and forth, people do give up their weapons, and they get tags to reclaim their weapons. And it seems like there's another counter on the other side that people are going to. They're like showing the tag number, and people are running in whatever back room and getting out the swords. And they, each and every time, they show them that the swords have been polished and maintained. And people look very satisfied at the effort that this place went through. And finally, it is your turn.
I will just follow suit as those before me, provide my weapons, make no guff, and take my tag and move along on my way.
The man behind the counter, who introduces himself as Kato, is like very respectful. Actually, gives you a more respectful bow that you didn't like because you didn't argue. And he gives you the tag. He lets you go in. He wishes you luck, fortune, and a happy time. And you go through what seems to be the back door, and suddenly you're out in and it's a courtyard of sorts. It's kind of a crossroads where many roads split off on this island. And in front of you, there's a lot of people hanging out. There are tea houses. Well, they're geisha houses. They are, advertising like acceptable hosts and good music. And there's a few different ones. One that's like right in the view, like straight ahead. That looks like very fancy. Very, it matches all the scorpion decor that's throughout the city. Then there's one kind of off that you can still see off the main road. And it looks very, lack of a better word, exotic. It looks very different. It's made out of different materials. It looks like a structure that will stay there for 1,000 years. It is definitely made of all stone. The roofs are strangely shaped. It is tiled on the outside. And definitely it looks like something that the unicorns imported into or onto this island. And there's many other houses. There are people calling for you to see if, you want to come in and enjoy the services, enjoy the free music, enjoy the company of a man or a woman. Just everything that could be thrown at you at once happens right when you get out of this door.
Well, I have a goal, so I'll try not to be swayed by other things. I'll try to find Jochu.
So, how are you going to go about this?
I'm just taking a look at some skills here, see if there's
Okay.
anything that would be applicable. Well, I know he is the head of a mounted guard, but I assume there's no horses here.
No, there's no horses. Not many ways to get horses around.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, I'd probably say it would fall to more of a courtesy this time, but my approach is probably going to be more on the air side. Perhaps just trying to tell me, I'm looking for Jocho, right?
Yep.
I'm looking for Jocho. I am, to be part of his entourage. I've sadly arrived late. It's just kind of, just a bunch of hot air. Trying to find out where he is currently residing this evening.
Cool. And yeah, that's definitely another air, water, right? We said water? Oh god.
That'd be air, because it's more of the trickery approach.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it would be more air, because you're trying to be like, yeah, I'm here for Jocho. Where he at? So whoabouts are you asking? Like, do you go into a place? Or are you asking one of the people like who are like calling out? Or do you ask some random person on the street?
I mean, that one, you went to such lengths to describe that one building. I feel like that's probably a good place to start.
Oh, the one building that's like in the line of sight when you get out the door? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd start there. I feel like if he's going to be anywhere, it might be in the fanciest place.
That's a good idea. Thank you for listening to Gates of Orchid and Iris. Remember to share, comment, and rate us where you can. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification button. Support this podcast by either going to our Anchor.fm page and hitting the listener support button, or supporting us through Patreon. On Patreon, the $1 level not only will help improve this podcast, but you will receive an extended version of the cultural exploration segments monthly. And we have a lot of other fun things planned for Patreon.